And just like that, October has arrived, the nights are drawing in, the air is fresher, and it's time to slow down the pace of life and get cosy. Let me show you what October looks like in Abruzzo, Italy. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Can you believe it's October already? This year has absolutely flown by for me. I've got the most perfect cozy weekend planned and I'm going to be showing you some incredible parts of Abruzzo. But first of all, I need to top up on my autumn decorations for the house, so I thought I would take you along with me. We're on our way to a shop that I really wanted to show you because it does the most incredible home decorations. However, I'm not sure that they do get anything in for autumn. I know at Christmas time it's absolutely amazing, but this kind of American culture of decorating for autumn hasn't quite become as popular as it has in the UK yet. But I wanted to show you a shop that you can find in Europe for any viewers that are joining me from there. This is another one for European viewers. I think it's a German shop called Action and it does great stuff for the home that's very reasonably priced, so let me show you around. Apologies, I had to stop filming because Boo Boo was being very needy and wanted to be carried around everywhere, which happens more than you might imagine. And then, horror of horrors, she actually went to the toilet on the floor of the shop, which she's never done in her 8.5 years, so it was very embarrassing and had to be cleaned up. So I'm just going to show you what I bought instead. First things first, I found these acorn lights, which I thought would be really nice. I bought 2 sets of these. I probably don't need them around the fireplace because I've already got a garland, but maybe along the console table. Then I picked up this lovely teddy fur throw, which is in really nice autumnal colours. Just to jazz up the sofa a bit. I haven't actually got my decorations down from the attic yet, and I know I do already have a pumpkin blanket, but you can never have too many blankets, I say. And then I picked up a couple of cushion covers, which I'm now regretting because I'm pretty sure I've ordered some online and they haven't arrived yet and I've just forgotten about them. But hey ho. I've got this one, which is super soft and a nice neutral shade, but it's also nicely textured. And then one that's very similar to that throw in autumnal burnt orange, again in that teddy fleece. And I just think it's nice not just to add colour but to add a little bit of texture as well, and they feel so soft to snuggle into. I can't wait. I also picked up some autumnal candles, these lovely little light up apples which I think are gorgeous. I really don't like Halloween decorations, I need to make that clear. I like seasonal decorations, so anything autumnal, but definitely not anything sort of spooky season-esque. And then I picked up some snacky bits, couldn't help myself, so I've got some giant marshmallows because I do love a s'more, or as close as we can get to a s'more because they don't sell the right types of biscuits here. Sorry about Boobie, she must be on one today. She keeps going up and downstairs making a racket with her little paddy paws. And then I do have a velvetizer, I do have a velvetizer which I love using in the winter, but I also picked up just a few of these that you stir into your hot milk because they're always tasty. And then one other thing I got, I don't know if you remember from the first shop I went in, I saw this light ball which I thought would be beautiful hung from the ceiling somewhere, and it was 27 euros I think, which I still thought was a bargain. And then as soon as we went into Action we found this which was only 7 euros, so absolute bargain. I think I'm going to go back and get some more. All in Action I spent 48 euros 40, which I think is pretty good considering I also bought some other bits and pieces, just snacky bits that I didn't show you, plus a load of hygienic wipes to clean up Doggy's mess in the store. And then when I was leaving, I happened to notice that they've opened a Pep & Co next door, which If You Live in the UK is something they sell in Poundland, or a brand from Poundland. I'm not sure who owns it. So I couldn't resist going in, and I found these lovely kind of, again, teddy fur pumpkins, which were only €4 each, which I thought was amazing because I've seen very similar ones in Primark for about €8.50. Sorry, they were €3. I take it back. So I bought beige and brown, and then a kind of velvety burnt orange one. I also bought some candles, which I won't show you because they're somewhere else and I can't be bothered. But I found these gorgeous little tureens to have my winter soups in, and they will, I'm so sorry, Phoebe is now throwing up or something over in the corner. She's obviously determined to ruin my videos today. Sorry, I'll start again. So I have some little Le Creuset ones that these will go really nicely with. So I bought one in white, one in orange, and I'm going to sign off now before she does something else that disturbs the piece of this video. Today I thought I'd take you somewhere completely soulless but very useful. I have a big shopping centre near me, and I want to go and look for some autumn decorations that hopefully you'll be able to find in your country as well. So there's a big Tiger store there, which I know exists in the UK and across Europe. I'm not so sure about the States. And I also really want to get some new books so that I can cozy up by the fire with a hot chocolate and indulge in a good read. Now, something I take for granted that people already know is that the shops are open much later in Italy, which I think is brilliant because once you finish work you can still go out and do a spot of shopping. So everywhere closes around 8 p.m, but in the smaller places like where I live, they close at 1 p.m. and then they reopen around 4:30. So there's that lull in the middle of the day where if you run out of something you've got no hope of finding it anywhere open, but these big centres obviously stay open throughout. Good morning, we're just about to get ready to have a super cozy day, and I thought I would take you along with us. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've probably realised that I like to turn the most ordinary event into something a little bit special, and today is no exception. I've decided to put up the autumn decorations, and I cannot wait to get started and get fully into that autumnal spirit. But first of all, I need something hot to drink and something a little bit extravagant for breakfast. Right, I've got my cup of chai now, which I just think is the best drink to have at this time of year, and it's filled the whole house with that wonderful smell of spices. I've got my French toast, which maybe doesn't look so pretty, but I know it's going to taste amazing. So all I need now is something cozy to watch, and I know you think I'm probably going to say Gilmore Girls, but I have a VPN for one reason and one reason only, and that is for a little bit of Great British Bake Off. Oh good lord, that was tasty. So big shout out to the chickens for always supplying me with fresh eggs. Now, if a bit of Great British Bake Off and cinnamon French toast doesn't get you in the mood for autumn, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. I, on the other hand, feel fully set up for the day. I'm going to shower and get dressed and then start putting up those decorations. I've just been up into the attic to get the decorations down, which was not a pleasant experience. I definitely need to get the chaos that is my attic tidied by the end of this year. I can't remember anything that I've already got, so unpacking these boxes will be as much of a surprise to me as it is to you. I've got my autumnal jumper on, which is way too thick for the weather. I think it's about 24, 25 degrees. So I'm sweltering, but I'm determined to power on through. Ooh, I'm happy to find this. Sorry about the rustling. So, as you probably know, I'm a massive Emma Bridgewater fan, and I don't have that much of her autumn stuff, but I do have a couple of plates and a couple of mugs, so I'll be looking forward to using those a bit later on today. There we have it. One of the matching mugs. We've got a set of 3 cushions which say trick or treat. So this was a previous year's design, which I thought was much nicer than last year's actually. We have some pumpkin shaped candles, some apple shaped knickknacks. These I love, little beige pumpkins. I've got a lovely kind of jewel coloured burnt orange vase. I've got a very cute fluffy blanket, a wreath, a little toadstool decoration, which I love. I think this is from TK Maxx a few years ago. I can hear some very strange noises, and I'm pretty sure that the pigs have just broken into the house because I didn't lock the door with the key. Hang on. It's me, what are you doing in here? Out! Out! And it feels super duper cozy in here. The living room is done and it feels super cozy in here. I do need to do the kitchen as well, but I think I'll save that for tomorrow because I've got a few other bits I need to get done today. Before I go and make some lunch, I thought I would just share a few book recommendations with you because there's nothing I like to do more on a cold autumn day than sit in front of the fire with a book. I am an absolute bookworm, and when I was little, the only thing I wanted to do was to become a librarian. And I did actually do that for a little bit while I was at school. I had a Saturday job in the local library. Unfortunately, it was tainted slightly because there were a few old men who were very strange, who used to sort of follow me around and make very inappropriate comments, let's say. So I didn't last too long in that job, but it kind of put me off that as a profession in my future life, but I do still absolutely love libraries. So first up, I've got this book by Murakami, which is called After Dark. I would say it's probably one of his lesser well-known novels, or at least it didn't receive particularly great reviews, but I think it's worth a chance. I think during this time of year where the nights are drawing in, this is all set obviously after dark. It's the perfect short read that will really capture your imagination. It's about a young girl called Mari who finds herself without a train home in Tokyo, downtown Tokyo, late at night, and it tracks the course of her evening, just one evening where she bumps into various people, including gangsters and prostitutes and people on the run. And throughout this one night of her life, she sort of discovers more about herself and also her sister, who's been in a coma for 2 months. It's kind of magical realism, so it doesn't have a very obvious plot, I would say, but it's very atmospheric, it's very beautifully written, and I definitely think that if you haven't got much time, I think it's less than 250 pages, this is a great autumn fireside read. My next recommendation is an absolutely genius idea for a book. It's called The Little Library Year by Kate Young, and it gives you lots of recipes divided into seasons, and then alongside those recipes are recommendations for books that you might want to read which are linked to those seasons in some way. So the autumn chapter is entitled When the Leaves Start to Turn, and it begins, I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers, which is from Anne of Green Gables. If you haven't read that book, even though it's for children, it's a great read, I highly recommend it. And there's also a Netflix series which is called Anne with an E, and it's beautifully made and acted. I think it's the perfect cozy autumn viewing if that's your kind of thing. It gives you recipes for things like back to school jam, which I think is from The Naughtiest Girl in School by Enid Blyton, salted buttermilk fudge, lots of recipes with apples, date and walnut loaf, rosemary tarte tatin, pork pie, all sorts of absolutely delicious treats. So Definitely worth a read. Couldn't do a book recommendation list without Sherlock Holmes appearing on there somewhere. I'm an absolute Sherlock Holmes nerd, and although the stories aren't specifically set in autumn, there's just something about sitting by the fire and imagining Sherlock playing his violin or sitting there in a cloud of smoke as he ponders the latest mystery that just screams cozy autumn read to me. I've got the whole collection and I thoroughly recommend every single story in it. Plus, if you don't have much time, they are very short, so definitely give those a go. I wanted to include something on the list for Italian speaking viewers in case I have any. I'm not really too sure. This one is by Frida Skybeck, who is a Swedish writer, I think, and it's called La piccola libreria sul Tamigi. And it's about a young lady called Charlotte who inherits a bookshop and a flat in central London after her aunt dies. And she goes there fully expecting to sell up and move back home, but in the end she ends up meeting some wonderful characters and uncovering some mysteries around the death of her own mother as well. It's quite an easy read. It's around 400 pages long, but it definitely gives you those warm and fuzzy feelings, so I definitely recommend giving it a go. I couldn't find this in English translation. I'm not sure whether that's just because the title might be completely different in English, but it's definitely a heartwarming tale. My last recommendation for you today is another cookbook, and oh my goodness, I go back to this one time and time again. It's so good. It's called Fireside Feasts and Snow Day Treats, which, I mean, even the name is just so evocative and just screams cozy to me. The introduction starts: "When the weather turns cold and the days grow short, what could be better than warming up by the fire and enjoying home-cooked food with family and friends? With flavoursome, comforting dishes for every occasion, this collection of delicious recipes will help stave off winter's chill and keep you warm the whole season through." The recipe I'm going to make for my lunch today is actually from this book. It's a French onion soup, and although it's a very simple recipe, it's just the ultimate in comfort food. It's got the croutons on top and all the gooey cheese and that taste of the cider coming through. Oh, I absolutely love it. So definitely add this book to your collection if you love being cozy. I'm off to go and buy some ingredients, and I thought I'd take you with me because I'm going to one of my favourite independent grocery stores, and I think I love it so much because it really reminds me of an English countryside farm shop, and you don't really get many places that look and feel like that here, so let me show you. I'm home now with all my ingredients. I'm going to have to go a little bit off recipe because it's hard to find cider here, so I'm just going to use white wine instead. And that lovely shop I went to obviously only sells Italian cheeses, so I've gone for something similar to a Gruyere that I think will work quite well. It's called a taleggio. I'm absolutely starving. Any drop in temperature makes me 10 times hungrier than I already am usually, so I'm going to get cracking. This wasn't cozy enough, I've just realised that one of my all-time favourite cozy viewing programmes is on Murder, She Wrote, so I'm going to take my lunch into the other room, curl up on the sofa and enjoy. Right, after all that overindulgence, I think a long dog walk is definitely what's needed. So I'm going to saddle up Booby and we're going to go to this church that has incredible views over the mountains. It feels so nice to be out walking and getting some fresh air, but I'm afraid I had to take off the jumper. It was just so hot. Off out for dinner now. The place we wanted to go to for steak was fully booked, unfortunately, but my other half has heard of a place that's kind of the Italian equivalent of an English pub, which is obviously one of the coziest places you can go in the autumn. So we're going to give it a try and I'll let you know how it is. Good morning, everyone. I've had a really lovely slow morning getting ready, and I think the best thing about having seasonal decorations is when you come downstairs the morning after and the whole house has taken on this different character. And just having that routine of going around and turning on all the fairy lights and lighting all the candles is just the best feeling for me. I think it sets you up for the day. I'm just about to head into town for my breakfast, and Sunday is also market day, so I usually have a wander around the stalls and buy any fruit and veg that I don't grow myself. And then we'll have a big lunch and probably take Booby out for a nice dog walk, and I would love to get the kitchen decorations sorted today as well, so come along with me. So this is how it's looking so far, and I'm really happy with it for the moment. I still need to change the seat pads and add a few more lights and candles, but so far so good. I need to stop now to make some lunch, and then I will come back to it later. My other half just got home and is already complaining that there's no space on the table for anything, and I'm already threatening him that if he makes a single mark on the tablecloth or gets a crumb on any of my decorations, there's going to be big trouble. And that's probably up until after Christmas, because let's face it, once these decorations come down, the Christmas ones will go straight up, so this should be fun for him. You probably already know this, but in Italy we have something called merenda around 4 p.m, and I guess it's similar to having afternoon tea in that it's a little snack and usually a cup of something. So I like to have something tasty in the house for this, and I thought today, being autumn, I would try out that viral apple pastry caramelli recipe, so here goes. So while I enjoy my hot chocolate and merenda, I thought I would do something I do at the beginning of every season, and that's to make a list of all the things that I would like to do during this period. I thought I'd share it with you in case it's a habit you want to incorporate, because I think it just means you don't waste time trying to decide what to do. And in the summer it's a bit easier to be spontaneous, but when the weather's not so good and you can't rely on sunshine, I think it's good to have a list prepared so that you don't feel like you're missing out. So far on my list, I've got that I want to go and watch the sunrise in the mountains with Doggy. So we may do that tomorrow morning if we can wake up in time. And it'd be nice to have breakfast up there as well. So fingers crossed, if we do that, I'll definitely take you with me and put it into this video. I'd like to have s'mores using marshmallows toasted on the fire. I know it's a really simple thing, but it's just the little things in life that I really enjoy. If you don't know what s'mores are, especially if you're in Italy, not many people do. It's two sorts of biscuits with toasted marshmallow and melted chocolate inside. The chocolate kind of melts on top of the hot marshmallow. So as usual, very indulgent but very delicious. And then the only other thing I have on the list so far is I'd like to spend a day in Rome. I know that there's a pumpkin patch nearby that looks really good, and they're not very popular here yet. But it'd be nice to see the city and have a wander around as the seasons change as well. If you've got any recommendations for books, podcasts, or autumn viewing, please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to go crack on with my list now, and if you have anything that you'd like to add to it, let me know, because I'm always open to suggestions for what to film next. just come to the woodshed to get some wood for a fire later, because I'm pretty sure that once we get back from our walk we're about to go on, I'm going to want to warm up in front of it and read my book. Morning everyone! We're up nice and early today because we're going to try and tick off number 1 on our list of things to do in autumn, and that was to go up into the mountains to have breakfast. So we've packed up some essentials and we have headed as far as we can by car, and now we're going to walk up the rest of the way. It's absolutely freezing, hence why I'm wrapped up quite so much. We've reached our picnic spot now and we couldn't have picked a better day for it. The sky is absolutely amazing. There's cows behind us with their bells ringing and it's so tranquil, apart from the sound of the drone. I'm sorry about that. Let me show you what I brought with me. Obviously the Emma Bridgewater autumn mugs had to come. In here we've got a little breakfast cake, some biscuits. We've got my favourite coffee maker, the Dolce & Gabbana Bialetti combo. I also brought some hot milk in my prison worker thermos flask. This little stove so we can make our coffee. So let's go, let's have breakfast. We've just got home and it's around 7:30 now, so I'm just going to go and feed the animals and then it's time for me to start work for the day. But I definitely feel well set up for the day now that I've had all that fresh air and a nice coffee with those beautiful views. I've just finished work for the day and I've had a little delivery, which is this projector that I've ordered for the outdoor cinema. Now, the outdoor cinema is nowhere close to being ready yet, but I do have a piece of fabric that would make a really good screen. So we're going to test it out tonight, I think, and put a Cosy film on and have a hot chocolate. I think I'm going to leave this vlog here, but thank you so much for spending time with me this weekend. I've had such a lovely time. I really enjoy embracing and appreciating every single season, and personally I'm really looking forward to slowing down the pace of life a little bit over autumn. Obviously summer on the homestead is very busy in terms of harvesting and making produce like jams and chutneys and pasta sauces and things. So it'll be nice to just spend a little bit more time in the house doing the things I love that you've seen in the vlog today. today. If you have any autumn rituals or rituals that you practice at the start of every season, please let me know in the comments. I'm super happy and grateful to let you know I reached my target of 500 subscribers, so thank you so much for being with me. I would, however, still love more engagement, so please feel free to interact with me and message me. I will always respond. The last thing I wanted to touch upon is that obviously my previous vlog came to you from our holidays in the south of France, and I had an amazing time and I'm truly grateful for the experience. But I also wanted to mention that I appreciate not everyone can have these experiences, and so I hope in today's vlog I was able to show you that you can completely romanticize your life just by doing very simple things at home without spending very little money. I just think that's something really important to mention. Anyway, thank you so much for keeping me company, and I'll see you again soon.